In an unexpected turn of events during a nationally televised political roundtable, Representative Jasmine Crockett of Texas found herself at the center of a media storm after threatening legal action against former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. The confrontation occurred live on air during a discussion about the increasingly tense political environment in Washington and the perceived weaponization of congressional committees for partisan gain. What began as a routine panel quickly escalated when Bondi made remarks that Crockett found defamatory. The discussion had been tense from the outset. Crockett, a rising Democratic figure known for her outspoken advocacy on justice reform and civil rights, had been passionately defending recent congressional hearings investigating political misconduct. Bondi, appearing as a conservative legal analyst, accused Crockett of politicizing the process, and claimed she had a history of using committee hearings to grandstand rather than seek truth. She further suggested that Crockett had obstructed rather than upheld her constitutional duties. Crockett, clearly caught off guard, responded immediately and with intensity. She interrupted the flow of the conversation, directing her attention squarely at Bondi. "You're making defamatory claims right now, Pam," Crockett said. "This is slander. I will not tolerate baseless accusations about my integrity on national television. I will be speaking with my legal team. This could absolutely result in legal action." Her declaration drew audible gasps from the studio audience and the panel. The exchange was clipped and circulated widely on social media within minutes, igniting fierce debate about whether Bondi had crossed a legal or ethical line. However, the drama did not end there. According to individuals familiar with the matter, Crockett quickly reached out to her legal team following the incident to explore the viability of a defamation suit. Initial public sentiment seemed to support her decision, especially among her base, who viewed the incident as yet another example of partisan attacks targeting progressive voices. Behind closed doors, though, her lawyers reportedly gave her a different message. One senior member of her legal advisory team, who spoke on condition of anonymity, explained that filing a defamation lawsuit would be extraordinarily difficult under current U.S. legal standards. "Representative Crockett is a public figure," the lawyer said. "That means the burden of proof is much higher. You don't just need to show the statement was false. You must prove it was made with actual malice, that Bondi either knew it was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. That's a very high bar to clear." Within 24 hours, Crockett appeared to reconsider her stance. At a press conference the next day, she adopted a more measured tone, indicating that while she remained angered by Bondi's remarks, she would not immediately pursue litigation. She emphasized the importance of civil discourse and accountability but stopped short of repeating her legal threat. "I stand by the work I've done and the principles I fight for," Crockett said. "But I also understand the First Amendment protections that apply, even when words sting. This moment has reminded me that our democracy thrives on open dialogue, even when that dialogue is difficult." Bondi, meanwhile, stood by her comments. In a statement released through her public relations team, she said her critique of Crockett was rooted in her opinion of the Congresswoman's public actions, not personal attacks. "In this country, political figures are subject to criticism," Bondi's statement read. "Representative Crockett and I may disagree sharply, but that disagreement is part of the democratic process. My comments were based on public records and my personal evaluation of her conduct in public office." She later appeared on a conservative podcast where she elaborated, expressing concern that threats of lawsuits could stifle free speech and discourage vigorous political debate. "We can't allow political discourse to become so fragile that every disagreement ends in litigation," she said. Legal experts weighed in across news platforms, largely agreeing that while Crockett may have had reason to feel attacked, a defamation suit was unlikely to succeed. Several pointed to the landmark 1964 Supreme Court decision in New York Times v. Sullivan, which established that public figures must prove actual malice in defamation claims. This precedent has made it difficult for politicians to win such lawsuits unless they can demonstrate a clear intent to deceive. In the days following the incident, public reaction remained sharply divided. Supporters of Crockett praised her for standing up to what they viewed as an unfair and personal attack. They circulated hashtags in her defense and called for networks to hold guests like Bondi to higher standards of accountability. On the other side, critics accused Crockett of attempting to suppress free speech and using legal threats to silence her opponents. Amid the uproar, political analysts noted that the situation highlighted broader tensions in American political life, particularly the struggle to balance passionate advocacy with respectful discourse. For many, it was another reminder of how even brief moments on live television can spark national controversy and shape public perception in ways that linger long after the cameras stop rolling. As the news cycle moved on, both Crockett and Bondi resumed their respective roles, neither backing down from their core positions. And while no lawsuit was ultimately filed, the incident left a lasting impression on viewers and commentators alike, that in today's polarized political climate, words carry heavy consequences, and sometimes, even a threat can echo louder than any courtroom argument.